Welcome to Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and leaving the world a better place than we found it. Hi, how's it going? Welcome to Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and making the world a better place. That wasn't even really a slogan. We just said it one day and it just kind of stuck. So I hope you guys like it because it's here to stay. So as you guys know, I do some episodes with guests and then I do some episodes by myself where I'm talking about my personal journey to being better. And this is one of those episodes where I'm by myself. And what I'm going to talk about today is the bad habits of family. This one's a little bit of an interesting one for me because I have a good family. I come from a good family. I remember growing up, family reunions and, spending time with my grandparents and my aunts and my uncles and my cousins. And there was always family around. I didn't come from a broken home. I didn't come from, any kind of a really bad family situation. But as generations move on, they hopefully evolve. So what I found with my family was there was 3 really core bad habits that a lot of people in my family had, not just, my parents or whatever. I'm not talking about just like 2 people or 1 person or 3 people. I'm talking about a lot of people that I grew up around. And those 3 habits were kind of ingrained in me. And those 3 habits were making excuses for when things go wrong. So looking anywhere but at oneself to find the problem. The second problem being, oh my God, bad money management. I mean, Jesus. It was like we had a money tree. I don't understand why that was ever a thing. And the third was really, really profound emotional responses to when things didn't go anybody's way. So these things are all together very detrimental. And in the case of, let's deal first with the one about money. Okay, so growing up, I did not have a great example of how to spend money. I remember as a kid, now when I look back, I'm like, I basically thought that I could if I just spent money, more money would come. And I think that came out of not having a lot of structure around how to manage finances, not having a lot of conversations about finances, just knowing at one point that I needed more money. So I went out and got a job and then I would just spend my money like there was really no consequence to not having any. And that led me to some, we'll call them pretty desperate situations. And it led me to realize that my big problem was I never had enough money to do the things I want to do, because I'm a bit of a big dreamer and I take a lot of risk. And so that's when I was like, okay, if I want to be able to do this, I got to save this, which means that I have to not spend it on this. But then I would say that in my head. I'd be like, hey, I can't spend this money because I need it for this thing over here. But then I would spend the money because I'd see a commercial for like new Nikes, right? And I'd be like, oh, they're bringing back the pumps. Oh my God. I need the pumps, right? I can't go out without pumps on now that they're back, right? $400 runners, way more important than saving $400 to start a business, right? And now we see that with kids and iPhones. So that one was really, really big for me. And then there was the whole blaming the world instead of myself. So the examples I had around me, a lot of people were just like, well, why'd you lose your job? Well, because this other guy over there said this thing, and then I responded to it, and then I got fired. Or, like, why did why did your house get foreclosed on? Well, my boss is an idiot, and he cut me down to 20 hours. Well, when did that happen? 2 years ago. So you thinking our job? Well, no. I got principles. I'm like, well, kind of your fault you lost your house. I mean, that's like, it sucks that your boss cut your hours in half, but at the same time, you could have gone and gotten another job. And then eventually, maybe you get so good at that job, you can tell that boss to cut your hours, peace out, right? And then when it comes to the whole, oh man, I think back to my childhood and I think of, all the great times I had, but then all the examples that led me to make poor life decisions as an adult. I mean, I didn't really crack the financial one until probably 2015 or so. I really started to realize that I was instilled with this intrinsic need to spend money. Well, my big one was if I was like around a group of people and they had things that I didn't have, I immediately went and got them to feel some kind of self-worth or something, or just to be part of the crew. I don't know why I did it, but I would do it constantly. And the harsh reality of trying to break your family habits and trying to be better is that you're going to lose some people along the way. So there were certain family members, like I had this one aunt who was like the center of my world for a long time. And then as I went on this journey to become a bit more responsible with myself, as I was like, but wait, didn't you cause that situation? Wasn't it you? What? Did you get mad at me or whatever? And I'm like, oh yeah, you're never gonna accept it. And I hear stories about her now, and I'm like, Jesus, she's still doing the same thing. I haven't talked to that aunt. So as a kid, I saw her all the time. I haven't probably talked to her in over 10 years, for sure. Lost her along the way. Because the thing about becoming better is that as you become a better person, you physically can't handle the people that aren't willing to do it too. The people that make the excuses or spend the money needlessly and then complain about having no money. I can't remember. What was the third thing I said? Now I'm like totally lost on it. Do you remember what the third thing I said was? The first one was the personal responsibility. The second one was the money.
Habits.
The habits. What was it about the habits?
Family habits.
Family habits? That was the third one? Bad habits. Okay. Drinking, I guess, was gonna be my cue there. Sorry, there were a lot of them, and I was trying to concentrate on three, and then I just lost the third one. But with all these things that I would watch, I would look at my family members and I would say, why? And they just didn't have an answer. Well, you constantly complain you don't have money, but you just spent it on a truck. Like I remember my one uncle, he spent money on a truck. It was like $1,200 a month in payments or something for this truck. The guy never had any money. I'm like, but like if you just didn't get the truck, if you got like a $600 a month truck or $400 a month truck, you'd have money. So isn't it your fault? Well, no, because they made the truck too expensive. I'm like, they made the truck too expensive. For you, they made the truck too expensive. But he couldn't get it, right? And that's like a mixture of the two, right? So that's a mixture of really bad financial management and not taking personal responsibility. Always thinking it's somebody else's fault for things. And the way that I got out of this, the way I made myself better in this regard was cutting out those family members. And also the family members I couldn't cut out because they were, central to my life and the family members you don't cut out. I had to stop having those conversations with them because we were never going to see eye to eye. So what I would do is, if a conversation with money came up with a family member that I knew would never understand saving, would never understand, the way to properly manage finances, conversation of money would come up, I would just walk my ass out the room. I mean it. I'd be like, stop. We're not going to see eye to eye. We're just going to get in a fight. And they would keep going, so I'd just walk out of the room. But I definitely had to cut out a lot. I mean, I would say probably 80%. I know that's a crazy high number. I had to cut out 80% of my family and some of my friends because it's true what they say that you are the sum of the people that you spend time with. If all you're doing is spending time with people in your family that have bad financial management, bad habits, and they blame everybody else but themselves for their own mistakes, you're going to do that. And growing up for all those years and seeing that as an example, it takes so much longer to break the habit than to develop it. So let's say I was seeing those habits until, I was 17, 18, and then I got out of the house, and now I'm on my own, right? It took what feels like forever. You know what? On the financial one, I'm still working on it to this day. I'm not nearly as bad as I used to be, but I said, I'm not buying an iPhone 15. It's not happening. I'm not doing it. It's basically a 14. iPhone 15. Now, there were extenuating circumstances. A bus drove over my 14. But I could have just gotten the 14 fixed and then got the 15. But I was like, well, I might as well get the 15 because the Vision goggles are going to come out in January and then I can watch all my videos from my iPhone 15 in 3D. So that justified it, right? So I do still have some, I shouldn't have gotten the 15. I know I shouldn't have gotten the 15. But that's one of very few examples I have left in my life. I really don't spend money unless I have to. Unless it's a necessity. I just went on a vacation. The vacation was a necessity because if I hadn't gone on the vacation, I would have killed someone. I was mentally fried. And I don't mean that literally. So no litigation here. No calling the cops on me that I'm a killer or anything. I was starting to get mentally completely burnt out. And I needed some time away. And I got that time away. And I came back a totally refreshed human being. And now a celebrity better moment with Ryan Windridge.
With Ryan. Oh, cameo with Ryan. Hello, Jay Hall. This wonderful question cameo is from Jay Hall and myself, Ryan Windridge. Yeah, boy! When I struggle to get out of bed because of my depression, and I find life difficult at the best of times anyway, I've gained a lot of weight myself because of comfort eating due to my depression and struggling with life. I go out and watch trucks because that's one of my things that does clear my head and it helps me. And I see life like a roller coaster. My roller coaster lately has been gliding along the bottom most of the time, but it's been going up a bit. But you just gotta do things you enjoy and do things that are fun and try and keep positive and just see life as a roller coaster and do things you love, because doing things you love and escaping reality and going places, it helps with your mental health and it helps you with your problems. Keep strong, keep on going, don't give up. Take it from me, a person who deals with bad mental health, deals with autism, dyspraxia, and who's gained a lot of weight because of mental health. Stay strong, you're never alone. Lots of love. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting my channel. Much love. Without you guys, I'm nothing. Much love, guys. Enjoy your evening. Delicious.
When I cut people out of my life, this is tricky. When you cut people out of your life, you have to give them a chance to not be cut out first. You have to say to them, look, I know this is probably not, anything you want to talk about, but you're really bad with money. And I'm really bad with money. And I'm trying not to be bad with money. The only way I can do that is if you come along this journey with me. If you don't come along this journey with me, I can't have you in my life because I will just continue to have those bad habits. I know it sounds harsh. You're probably sitting there going, wow, you're an asshole. And maybe a little bit. But it's kind of the asshole mentality that will get you to where you want to go. It's ironic that you kind of sometimes have to be an asshole to be better. Because if I had kept those people there, if I kept those aunties and uncles and those cousins and everybody that had all these bad habits of blaming the world and drinking constantly and spending money like crazy, I would have never been able to afford anything that I have today. I've got a business. I'm sitting in my own studio, looking into my own camera. I have a producer who I'm paying to be here. I have a TED doll that for some reason is essential to our business. I can't figure out why, but it makes everybody happy. All these things that I have are a result of me learning my lessons. So I look at some of those people, some of those family members, and even friends for sure, that had those bad habits that I had to cut out. Guess what? Still in the exact same place they were when I left. 10 years ago, I put them in my rearview mirror and I go back to them and I just, I don't go back to them. I hear, I'm talking to like an uncle that does have his shit together and he knows all them. And he's like, yeah, she's still doing this. He's still doing that. And that reaffirms to me that it works. Now, will it work for you? I don't know. I think it will. But I'm not a psychologist of any kind. So, I think you should probably talk to an expert or feel this out before you do it, because cutting out family members is a pretty harsh and hard thing to do. But give them a chance. And if they're not willing to come along on that journey with you, then you have to cut them. Now, here is one of the biggest life lessons I had to learn the hard way. Everybody learns this lesson the hard way, it seems. If you go to somebody and you say, look, I am trying to hold myself personally accountable for the dumb shit that I do. I'm done blaming the world for it. You do it too, though. Do you want to grow together? And they say, absolutely. I've been thinking about it forever. I want to do it. Let's do it together. And then they don't. Cut them. Okay? It's so easy to see what people's true intentions are because it's always through their actions. Words are nothing. Words are, anybody can say anything they want. But what do their actions tell you? One of the best examples I have for you was I've talked about my political scandal, about the fact that I was called a misogynist, and the one of the reporters a year later was reporting on something else that I was doing, and she said that after the story was done, she went through my blog and my social media posts because she was looking for another way to follow up on the story after the election was done. And she realized, going through my videos and all the photos I had and all the blog posts I made with videos and all that with them, actions attached, she realized that she had basically just looked at like a sliver of my life and made a jump conclusion about who I was. But then once she looked at my actions, she was like, oh, wait, this guy has, if anything, he's a little too pro-women. That's exactly what she said. She's like, you might be a little too pro-women, to be honest. And she's like, you act like we walk on water. I'm like, I don't act like you walk on water. I just know that if you ran the world, it'd probably be a better place. Because you're not quite as fast to jump into war and fighting as guys are. So that was just, I thought it was really funny. But, it comes down to always actions. So again, if you have a family member who says they're going to come on a journey with you and then they're just not doing anything about it, like, great example, best physical example I have, the easiest example is if two people are like, we're going to get in shape together. One person goes to the gym, the other person sits at home and eats Cheetos. That person's not coming to the gym with you. They're showing you that they have no interest. Why are you beating your head against the wall saying, are you going to come this Tuesday? Are you going to come at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock? I haven't gone to the gym yet. I really got to go to the gym. Yeah. Let's do it at 10. 10, okay, 10 comes. They're not coming. They're not coming. They're not fucking coming. They're not going to the gym. They have no interest yet in getting better. So when you're going on this journey and you're cutting out family members, it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad because some of these family members are going to be people that you spent an insane amount of time with. But at the end of the day, the habits that your family has created are only habits because somebody has allowed them to happen. That's it. Once they see, be the shining example, be the beacon in your family that they look at and say, how did he get all of that? How did she do it? And then they can go, oh, that time that he said to me, yeah, I'm bad with money. You're bad with money. Let's do it together and get better at money. Oh yeah, yeah, that's it. And I bet you, I really do. I bet you that some of them, not all of them, but some of them will come around through your example. So you get to be the one that guides your family to a better life by being the one to take the first step. Okay? So I would say if you're going to do this, start with one. Now, I tried to start with a bunch. It didn't work. Start with one thing, one habit that your family has that you are not down with, that you know is detrimental to your growth, that you know is detrimental to your family's progress. Take the steps. Tell your family, this is what I'm doing. Come along for the journey, or you can't come along at all. Some will come, some won't. Some will say they will, and then they won't. But at the end of the day, when you conquer one, conquer another, conquer another, conquer another. I run into family on a regular basis who say to me this exact line. Man, where did this come from? They honestly thought I had a principal. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I had a principal who said there were only two certain futures for me. Which one I had was going to be entirely left up to chance: jail or dead young. That's what he told me as a kid. And I think a lot of my family thought so too. A lot of my family thought that was going to be my end result. Well, it's not. And it's not because I did what I did. And if you want to be better, one of the first things you have to look at is your family habits. Is your family full of divorce? How many of those people drink? I guarantee it's probably a part of the equation. I can't think of too many couples that are happy that both drink. Because the problem with drinking is that it causes people to say and do dumb shit. Okay? I'm not saying you can't drink. I don't drink, but my girlfriend drinks. We went to Napa Valley and she got blitzed. It was great because she's a really fun drunk and it was a lot of fun. She doesn't do it every day. This is the only time I've ever seen her drunk. I'm not saying don't drink. I'm saying look at the common elements of the family that aren't doing well. And if you have those elements in you, then you know what you have to work on. That should be the first step of your betterment journey. Look at those family members around you. Look at the ones that aren't doing well. Look at why. Understand, I've got that in me too, or it's budding inside of me. This is something I need to deal with now. You're going to come out of that journey after probably take a couple of years, at least, maybe a decade in some cases if they're really ingrained and really bad. And you're going to be the person you've always wanted to be. And then you can continue on with all the other stuff, right? You want to become better in business. You want to become better in sports. You want to become better and you want to change the world. You want to learn how to, I don't know, do something. All these things will become easier because it takes real grit, real responsibility, real personal self-awareness, and real intelligence, and extreme humility to be able to pull this off. So I hope if you're sitting there and you're looking around at your life going, I need to do better. And then you look at your family and you see where those habits are coming from. I really hope you take this journey. Because I'm telling you right now, when you do, and when you come out on the other side, it's going to be painful the whole way through for the most of you. It's going to be ungodly painful. But when you come on the other side, you're going to... I look back at those people that I had to cut out and I say, okay, hopefully they learn from the example and they do better themselves. But if they don't, all right. Because guess what you have at the finish line? A whole lot of people that have done a betterment journey too doing this. Applauding your journey. That's what it comes down to. I, 10 years ago, did not deserve the people I have in my life today. 100%. The people I have today are a direct result of what I'm talking to you about right now. Just everything's better. See you guys later. Welcome to Better, the podcast about doing better, being better, and leaving the world a better place than we found it.